Hey, this is Chioma.
Hey, this is Allie.
So, today I noticed that a lot of students were moving in on campus, and it basically made me flashback to freshman year and moving in because you and I are both graduated now. Things are different. And it was bittersweet watching them, with the parents, and I was sad because I'm I don't get a chance to do that anymore. But then I was also happy because it's that's really stressful.
Yeah, it is really stressful. I remember driving up with my mom. We drove all the way from San Diego, 8 hours, not fun, with a car full of stuff. My mom barely fit in the front seat because I had so much stuff I literally took my entire life from my room and took it to San Jose. So, yeah, I can definitely relate to that. A few photos even came up, on social media of just, what happened 4 years ago, and it was my mom and I, and she helped me, decorate my whole room, and she wanted to do everything, and I just let her because I'm the only child, so that was, that was her thing, and she was very excited to do that. So, do you remember anything with your parents or your...
I remember it was my dad who drove me down. I think whenever I moved in, it was always my dad. My mom didn't even see my dorm for, a while. When she came down to, visit or get me, it's just so funny because I think it's just so random that it was always him.
Yeah.
But he drove me down. I remember she, cried, and she's like, be safe, have fun.
Aww.
And I'm like, Mom, really, calm down, please.
Yeah.
And so he drove me down. I remember we moved everything in. And back then, I didn't even really have that much because we were in the bricks. So there was no space.
And you were in a triple at that.
A triple.
So there was no room. You were on top of each other. I was in a double. So
the good life.
It was pretty great. And then my roommate, which I'm still friends with now, and she was kind of from the area, so she kind of would go home on the weekends sometimes. So then it was I had a room to myself at times.
See.
So that was fun. But no one wanted to come to my room because it was too far away.
You know, for our listeners right now who don't know anything about the breaks, if you're all the way at the end of the hallway, no one will ever visit you. You could never come out of your room.
That's not true. They will come visit you if you have food.
Yes.
I guarantee. Because I used to get care packages for my grandma. Oh, when everyone saw those, everyone was coming down to my room. They were flocking down.
Wasn't there, cookies or brownies in those care packages?
Probably. She always, sent stuff. She would, basically hoard stuff for a little while. And then, not hoard, but just buy stuff that she'd think I'd like. And then send a huge package. And it was really cool because... care packages.
Nothing or no one is hungrier than a college student, especially a freshman.
Yes.
You'll do anything for food, anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You'll do anything.
And if you have a car, good luck.
Oh, my
goodness. I was the one with the car, and so everyone wanted to ride from me. Which I learned the hard way was not always a great thing, right? But I learned, and I went from there.
Yeah, because a lot of freshmen leave their car, sometimes they want it to, but usually it's their parents don't want them to bring it.
Yeah.
The first year.
Well, and honestly, I feel like freshmen, unless you're working, you don't really need a car unless, because I worked my first year, well, throughout my entire years, actually, but I worked the first year, so I needed it to go to work.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to use public transportation because it was a little bit far.
And everyone listening, you don't ever need a car because I don't have my license yet, and everyone makes fun of me for it, but I know how to drive. I just don't have my license. I will get it eventually. I just don't have it right now.
Yeah. So. And that's okay. Everyone's hey, you're eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly, walking around and scootering around.
Yes.
Yeah, but seeing them moving in and all that stuff was wow. I'm officially at the point where I've graduated undergrad. I don't have any classes to look forward to.
Yep.
I gave San Jose State my all. And so I miss having classes, but then I don't want that stress anymore.
Yeah.
And definitely. These people are starting off at the beginning of it. And then everyone else who's coming back. And
some of our friends that are going back to school still.
Exactly.
Because most of them are, well, not most of them, but some of them are either graduating this semester or have a little bit longer to go, but because every path is different. So
shout out to you all who are going back to school or starting college at San Jose State or wherever you're starting. Shout out to you. It's exciting.
Yes, and my little cousin, she's going to be coming up to SF State this weekend, so I'm super excited for her. her in her journey because she's also coming from San Diego. And I'll kind of be able to help her along the way. And just if she wants to kind of come home away from home, she can always, come to my house. And that way she can have a little bit of family with her. And so she's not completely homesick. Because I know I was. I don't know. You were only about, 2 hours away?
I'm only 2 hours away. And I never got homesick. Actually, okay, I'll say freshman year, I was always going back home, but that was to go visit the person I was currently dating at the time. Mm-hmm. But I was never a homebody. Like, I loved San Jose. Like, I fell in love with San Jose as soon as I came out here. Yeah. I think it's because I had freedom and no one to tell me when I had to come in the house. Yep. But I was never a homebody. So when everyone was, like, going back home, I was like, for what? What are you going back home to visit? Your family? What? Yeah. I guess I was the weird one because everyone else was always wanting to go home.
Yeah, I wanted to go home a lot the first year or the first semester because I also was in a relationship, and so I didn't really go out as much as I probably should have or wanted to until my second semester. So I think I felt that homesickness, but it was also partly because I was in a relationship, so I just thought about like him and associating it with being home. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But obviously I miss my family like crazy because like you go from living with them for all of your life to just leaving.
Amen. Yay. Woo. Sharing a room with my sister for like 20 years. Well, love you, sis. Shout out to you.
I was only child, so never had to share a room.
Such a good life. Like, such a great life.
Never had to share a room. But until I got to college, and then I realized,
and that's different. For those of you who are starting college, new, or even coming back, we all had, like, different roommates, and people are just all different, like, and you don't really realize what it's like to live with other people, like strangers, until you come to college. Like, you can fight with your family, you don't wash the dishes, you don't do that, but when you're dealing with other people, it's a whole different story.
I definitely learned a lot of flaws that I had in myself with living with someone else because I had never lived with never lived in someone in the same room, and so we definitely had our issues the first, like, probably month or so, but then we worked them out and we're good. But it was definitely like a learning experience. So whoever is moving in, advice is like just try to be open and talking to people, and don't always think that they're like attacking you because they may just are trying to tell you that they don't like something that you're doing, and so you just have to be more mindful of that, and then kind of change your behavior a little bit, because it may be something that you never realized you did until they brought it up, and it could be the other way around. Like, you could notice something your roommate does that annoys you, but it's just finding that, like, communication and being able to talk to each other about it, and not like subtweet or things like that, because that does happen.
Very true.
And it's not healthy. So also shout out to all RAs, because I know that you guys deal with it a lot. I was personally an RA last school year, my last year, and so that was a lot in and of itself. I thankfully mainly had male residents, so I treated them kind of like cactuses. I kind of watered them, for a little while, and then left them for a month, and then came back and made sure they were okay. But there are other, students out there that need a little more help than they did, so just shout out to RAs. That's all I have to say right now.
And shout out to my RA from freshman
year. Oh my God, yes!
Lex. Shout out to you, girl, because I was a hot mess. I was a nuisance. Like, I was so loud, causing all kinds of a ruckus and just all kinds of
stuff.
True
story.
And, like, shout out to my freshman year roommates, Bianca and Nina, who kept me on my toes, and we were all crazy. Our room was literally like the spot. Everyone was in our room all the time, even when we didn't want them there. They were still there.
I was one of those people.
She indeed was. And there's many of you. I will not call your names out. Love you all. But
they'll come out eventually.
Yeah, exactly. But Lex was always writing me up, but she like loved me and I loved her. She just knew she had to write me up because I was being loud. Or I was doing
she was doing her job.
Yeah,
and I can understand that now. Because I personally was wrote up too, and I was very upset. And then I became an RA, and then I realized, like, it's just part of their job. They're doing what they need to do. Also, shout out to our other, well, that was my RA, but you didn't have, it was RA Ray.
Oh, yeah!
Yes.
Because you're on the other side.
Yes. Shout out to you also because you gave us free Starbucks the other day.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yes. It was so good.
But I remember one time we were being we were in our room, and we were all being loud. And I remember Lex was like, she came in, I knew she was coming, so I hid. And she's like, I hear Chiom in here. I know Chiom is in here.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and they're like, no,
Chiom
is not here, and I was hiding. She's like, huh. I walked out. And I was like, what? I'm not the only one in here, and but it was so funny.
It wasn't even you being loud for once.
Yeah,
it was someone else.
Yeah, it was someone else. But like, you know, when people think of loudness and they know me, they think of me. Okay?
Oh yeah, they do, and that's okay. But
I had to hide that
was not the reason. She also wrote me up too. But hey, you know what?
You probably deserved it.
I guess. So also, freshmen, be mindful of what you're doing because yes, you want to have fun. Yes, and do all that you can. But please be careful, for one, because not everyone is safe and not everyone wants the best for you. So you have to watch out for those kind of people. But, you know, if you're going to go party, just make sure that you're safe and that you at least have, like, at least with our friends, we kind of have, since I think freshman or sophomore year, we share locations with each other.
The iPhone people. I do not have an iPhone, so these people cannot see where I am.
You could use Snapchat or other sources.
Yes,
we just did it for the simple fact that, like, we wanted to make sure if someone didn't text us that we could see that they're home. Just in case anything happened, or if, like, you go on a date and you're like, hey, I'm going on a date, make sure I text you by, 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And I think that really helps just to, like, so we know that all of our friends are safe. I mean, I still use it now. Not always to make sure they're safe, but sometimes, like, just to see if they're home before I call them. Because what if they're busy? What if they're working? What if, whatever the case is. So, back to my point. Freshmen, just be careful is all I can say.
Google Maps, you can also share your location live for, like, I think an hour. So, like, for that amount of time, your location is live and they can click on it. Mm-hmm. They can see where you are, where you're moving. They can stalk you, for love, for good things.
And, Chioma, you should also tell them, always have your...
Pepper spray?
Oh, that too. But ID.
Oh, your ID, please, students.
Yes.
And I'm talking about you people who are coming back, because you guys seem to forget everything. So, always have your ID with you. When you're coming to the buildings now, they're really cracking down on that in the freshman dorms, in the upperclassmen dorms, even whatever school you're going to.
I'm sure they're having a lot of stuff going on
they want
with
you
that.
to have
just
your
for
IDs.
Security reasons. And I know people get really annoyed with that. It's like, oh, why did I take out my wallet? But it's like, you would rather have someone take those 30 seconds to do that rather than have someone random come into the location.
Yes.
Because which has happened before in many campuses, and it's not a good situation for anyone to be in. So just be careful and be aware and not get annoyed of it, because it is for your safety and for everyone in that building.
And this is her good RA person advice, because I personally would avoid showing my ID and somehow get through the building. But we don't want to do that. Don't be like me, because I try to, like, beat the system, and that shouldn't always work or be like that. So listen to what Allie says. Carry your ID with you. But, have fun. Those who are freshmen, have fun.
And who aren't freshmen, honestly.
Yeah, like, in general. Like, it's not just for freshmen.
Yeah, we're just kind of... our focus was kind of just to talk about people moving in and like us realizing that we don't have to go to school in like a week, and it's weird for us. So sad. Well, it's sad, and it's like a bittersweet feeling, I feel like, because we've been going to school since kindergarten, and now I don't know what to do sometimes.
And we feel old now. Like, everyone, like, we're alumni now, if that's the word. And so we can still be involved in stuff, still go to, like, the hangouts and stuff. We're just not going to class. But it's just so different, because when you start college, like, you're an adult, and at least you're becoming an adult, and, we're in our 20s now. And it's just different, because you're actually thrown into real adulthood once you graduate. Because when you're in college, it feels like there's a cushion under you.
Yes.
Like, that you can fall back on, and you have all these resources. Once you graduate, there are, like, resources for people who just graduated, or through your school that you graduated from. But it's not the same as being an enrolled student. Like, you are really out there in the world. People keep asking me, what are you going to do now? And I'm like, I live down the street.
Yeah.
And
I think that's, like, another thing is because, like, we are still young, and I think people kind of forget that, and they're just like, well, what are you going to do? And it's like, okay, well, let me figure out my life. Like, let's see how it goes, because I feel, I was just speaking to a coworker today about this, of just, people get burnt out of what their field is. So, like, oh yeah, we should have probably talked about that too. So I graduated in sociology
I graduated journalism. Yeah. Shout out.
So a lot comes with that, and so we were just kind of speaking about how it's good to kind of venture out of your comfort zone and venture out of what your major was, because yes, my major is sociology, but like doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be a social worker, which is what everyone's like, oh, social work. Or they mix it with psychology, which I never understand.
Same with journalism. People think that all we do is write. No, the world is literally our oyster. And everyone listening, the world is your oyster in whatever field you're doing, whatever major you have. You
also,
can do anything.
I will say, too, like, you know, college is awesome, but even if you're not in college, like, there are so many options to do and be an entrepreneur. I mean, look at us. We're trying a podcast.
Yes. Like, we don't know what we're doing.
And we're just kind of throwing it out there to the world and seeing what happens, and hopefully we can help people, even if it's just a few people, to help them in their day, and even if it's just listening to us at work. Yeah. Because I know a lot of people do that as well.
Yeah, and we have a friend, like, shout out to you, Kiana, who took some time off from school, but she's doing really cool stuff. She is a flight attendant right now. Yep. And she gets to just go wherever she wants to go and travel.
Proud of you, by the way.
We love you. Yes. Yeah, and, you know, she's on school right now, but she is flourishing. And you don't really have to be in school to flourish. Even if you, like, want to go back and do school, just be really happy doing whatever you are doing. Because if you're just doing something just to get money, you know, we all have to work and stuff like that, but you want to go to work and be happy about it, you know? And so even when you're doing a major, please think about it. Like, don't just do a major
because your parents.
Yeah, because your parents.
Or your family.
Or you think it's, like, cool, but you're not really into it. You want to love it.
Yeah. And it's okay to change your major. It
is. Like, for me,
just don't do it too late if you can help it.
Oh my gosh, please take that advice. Go to your advisors. And I'm talking to you people who are coming back, not just freshmen, because, like I said, everyone acts all confused
and
all the time.
For freshmen, go to your general advisor. What is it? General ed?
Yes.
General education advisor and your major advisor.
Yes.
Because sometimes they don't know each other's stuff. Like, they don't cross it, and so sometimes they make you take more classes than you really needed. And also just check for yourself. I mean, because there are resources, like, on the actual portal that you can look at and see, like, my schedule or my progress, and then you can look into that. Because honestly, I didn't even realize that until I think my second or third year. And that would have helped. I mean, granted, I did okay, and I did the classes that I need to do. However, like, that would have been a very helpful tool to have known from the beginning, so that way I would have planned it better.
Yeah, well, with my situation, like, you know, like, I almost didn't even graduate in the 4 years. And it wasn't because I was, like, slacking. You know, I was a good student, made the dean's list, all that stuff. It was because I didn't know about the My Progress, so I wasn't keeping track of the classes I already took. So I was taking classes and, like, fulfilled certain, like, requirements that I had already fulfilled, like, say, GE Area D1. I already took one of those, and I took another one. So there's, like, 33 units that I took that I did not need to take because I had already fulfilled some requirement or all those requirements. So I just took another class. Yeah. And that stressed me out. I remember one time I called Allie crying. I was like, I'm not going to graduate. You know, and that doesn't mean I never was going to graduate, just I wasn't going to graduate in the 4 years.
She was overwhelmed.
I was overwhelmed, freaking out. And I was like, I'm not going to graduate. And, you know, Allie just tried to calm me down and talk to me and be like, it's okay. And I called my boyfriend. I told him. He tried to calm me down. It's like, it's all right. And, you know, in the end, I did it in 4 years. Yep. Thank goodness. Even with those extra 33 units, 7 classes my last semester. And I was working, and I did that. So I'm like, yes. But for some people, it's not always going to be in 4 years, you know? Like,
and that's okay. Yeah. Like, I feel like I've had some conversations with friends recently, and, like, they feel, like, discouraged, and they're like, excited for me, but I know that they can be a little, like, oh, I'm not graduated yet. And it's like, it's okay. Everyone has different paths and different journeys. Like, you may have more obstacles than I did, or whatever the case is, right? Because, I mean, I did it in 4 years, but I had a counselor tell me, oh, you're not going to graduate in 4 years.
Wow.
Like, and so, of course, as me being, I think I was either a freshman or maybe, like, beginning of sophomore year, I was like, so am I not? And I was, like, texting my mom, shout out to my mom and, like, everyone, because she was like, no, you're gonna do it in 4 years. Like, and at first, I got really upset, and I was like, she doesn't, like, it's harder than I think she thinks it is. Like, it's been a long time since she was in school, and so I got frustrated with her, but then I'm thankful now, looking back and realizing, yes, it was like tough love, if you want to say, but she pushed me and I did it.
I had the same conversation with my mom, I think, where I was like, crying about, I'm not going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I was also thinking she doesn't understand how hard it is. But I was really just making excuses because I did it. And it was hard.
I actually just texted her the other day. I said, thanks for not giving up on me or something like that. Yeah. And she responded with like the best response I think a mom can. And it was like, that's what moms are supposed to do.
Yeah. Like sometimes you really do make excuses for yourself just to make yourself feel better. But other people can like not want to help you make those excuses and be like, no, you're good. Yeah. So I was like, you don't realize how hard it is, and I've been doing this, I've been doing that, just to end up still getting it done. And it's like, okay, what was the point? What was the point of the complaining? What was the point of not believing in myself? So I totally get that. And like everyone out there, it's okay. Like if you don't graduate in 4 years, it's okay. Like I said, there's that cushion that you have while you're in school. Yeah. Have fun with that cushion. Hold on to it as long as you can.
I know someone now that has just been working and like traveling and like all this kind of stuff, and now they want to go back to school. And so now they're like figuring that journey out. And I think that's really awesome that like now that you've done everything that you wanted to do kind of in a way, now you're realizing, okay, now I want to go back to school and do something else. And I admire people like that because it takes a lot to like up and change your life to do something different. Because let's face it, no one really likes change.
Very true.
I can say the same just in the last 6 to 8 months of graduating, of having different jobs. So I started working like January, February of working with kids with autism. So that taught me a lot in and of itself, just because kids are a lot to handle as it is. Oh, yes. Let alone, adding a your autism into that as well. So it definitely taught me a lot of patience, I will say. And then, just working at the housing working at the school.
Oh, yeah. We both worked for housing. Allie, how long did you work for housing?
3 years.
Oh, wow. She dedicated her time. I worked there for 1 year and 5 months, and literally, I think it was yesterday. Thursday was my last day working for housing, and that was bittersweet. So, like, with the whole jobs thing, because that was, like, working for housing was, like, my most continuous, like, working, like, jobs. I was a conference assistant. Shout out to all the conference assistants, the CAs. Love y'all. Y'all do great. And then I did the mailroom. And so Thursday was my last day. I got this plaque and stuff. And literally,
I got one too.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Our boss, shout out to you, Rachel. She's awesome. Like, she just does so much for everyone. Too. Yeah. And so it was so weird because, like, I knew it was my last day, but, like, I was, like, cleaning the mailroom because, like, I was like, it needs to be cleaned. And I feel like I was just trying not to think about it being my last day. So I was just working. Like,
I can relate to that, too, because my last day was just a few weeks ago. It was on the 31st of July. And so I remember walking out to my car, and honest to God, I was about to cry, and then a friend that I saw, like, across the street, she, like, called my name, and so I went and talked to her.
Allie likes to cry, just so you all know.
I'm an emotional being, okay? Leave me alone. Anyways, but I think it was just, like, a really bittersweet moment for me because it was like, okay, I have no more ties with SJSU right now.
Yes, that's exactly where I am. It hurts.
That's what it was. It was like, okay. And then what was interesting, too, was the next day I was starting my new job, which now I'm a housing coordinator for people with developmental disabilities. And finding affordable housing, which is very hard in the Bay Area, let me say that. So I think it was just really hard for me to, like, come to the realization that my time at SJSU is over. For now, for undergrad. Yeah. Assuming I don't go there for grad school, which is a possibility.
Those ties, like, it's crazy because, like, college goes by really, really fast.
Well, it's fast slow.
Yeah, fast slow. High school took 10 years. I swear, I was in high school for 10 years. But college, it goes by fast. And I remember, like, junior year, I was like, this is comfortable. This is cool. Senior year comes around, I'm like, oh my gosh. And when I knew I was going to do it in 4 years, I'm like, really? Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so ending the job in the mailroom with housing, I was like, my ties to the school are being severed. It's ending, and it was hard to actually deal with. Like, I was doing well with it, I guess, but it's really, like, you graduate and you gotta move on. And you can still come to festivities and do stuff, but you're not a student anymore. You did it. And that's what everyone is trying to achieve, but we're still kind of sad and happy about it, getting degrees.
Yeah.
Everyone else is trying to get their degree, but it came too soon. It kind of feels like it.
Yeah, I get that too. I think, like, the last, like, I would say probably 2 months of school, it felt like it dragged on. But I think it was because all those assignments that were due.
Oh, my goodness.
That was stressful in and of itself. I know I had a lot of family come in for my graduation, which was amazing and wonderful. But it was also a lot of stress. Just having a lot of people that you love all in one room together, and there's a lot of different personalities and all those sorts of things that come along with it. But yeah, it's just a lot going on. I don't know.
Well, when it comes to, like, stress, like, and we'll talk about this in another, like, episode, but, like, I lost my dad in April, a month before graduation. 7 classes, working. I somehow managed to get 6 A's, 1 B, and everyone who knows me knows I will never get over that 1 B. But the stress, you have projects, you have papers, you have all this stuff.
On top of, like, being a regular person.
And, like, on top of being a regular person. And I was trying to grieve at the same time.
Yeah.
And keep a smile on my face, grieve, and do everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know how you did it, to be honest with you. I'm proud of you that you did.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know I tried to check in on you as much as I could, but I know it was, like, a lot for you to deal with, so I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to be an extra person to, like, check in on you and be like, oh, I have to respond to them. Yeah. So it was just more of, like, I'm here if you need me. So,
yeah, I was hitting everyone with the same response with, thank you so much, I appreciate it, when they, like, reached out to me. I just had it ready, and my phone even recognized it so that the words were popping up. I'm just a pusher. I just keep pushing. And even when I got a concussion this past semester, I was still at work and still going to classes, even though the person from the health center told me not to do that. I'm a pusher, so I just kind of push through. And that's my advice to give to, like, people who are listening. Try pushing through. I know stuff isn't easy. We all handle stuff very differently. But I had to get it done. Like, a teacher told me, if you want to take off some time, I can give you an incomplete for the class, and maybe you can try again. And I was thinking in my head, yeah, I did lose my dad. It's devastating. It's horrible. I am grieving. But he would want me to graduate. He wouldn't want me to take an incomplete, me go home, be depressed and sad. I was like, no, I got to finish this.
Yeah. And I will say with that, make sure you have some sort of self-care.
Yes.
Yes, push through, but also take care of yourself.
Yes, listen to Allie, okay? I'm talking all this push, but make sure you are okay mentally.
Yes.
Because all that stuff can wait. All that stuff shouldn't come before yourself and your, like, mental health and your well-being overall. Like, make sure you're okay.
Like, and even if it's just, like, you're doing this is actually one of my professors taught me, and so we were I think, the 100W class, which is for freshmen or sophomores. It's the writing class that's to come, and it is hard. Well,
I hated mine.
Let me say this. It depends on what professor you had. I had a professor that was very, very strict and very, she just wanted it done a certain way, but it was to teach us. Like, to teach us the right way of doing it, which I applaud her for that. But at the time, I was very frustrated because I kept doing it wrong and kept getting everything wrong. But the point of that was she was saying that if you're writing a paper and you're just sitting there and you're sitting there on a blank screen and nothing's happening, take a break because nothing's going to happen. Like, go watch a TV show for 10 minutes, come back, and be ready to write. Because it's better to give your brain a rest than to sit there at a blank screen. Because, like I said, if you're just sitting there and nothing's coming to your mind, then of course it's gonna be the same process. Like, you got to give your mind a break in order to be able to let it think and let it process what you are trying to write down in your paper.
That is so true. When I would be writing papers, what I would always advise people to do and what I would always do is open my Google Docs, because I use Google Docs.
Yeah.
I would put a heading, a title, I would put everything, and then I would leave. Because I was like, I will get it done a lot faster if I have it set up. If I have a document created.
Right.
And maybe I can put a little here, put a little there. But I would just set it up and leave it. And then come back to it. Then go back and forth. Try not to procrastinate. I procrastinated all the way through college, through school. And I was a really good student. I did really well, But sometimes procrastinating can stress you out. Some people work better under pressure. Some people don't. But try to be better. I tried my last semester to actually be organized, and I should have done that way before.
Yeah, I understand. Also, be productive if you're in a team, like working in a team.
Oh, like a group project? Please be productive. In every group project I've done, not every single one, most of them, I was the one doing the most work. I'm not trying to brag. I don't know what it is about me, but people think I'm some kind of leader or something. Like, I would just be sitting there minding my business, and they would look to me when they're trying to figure out who's the leader or who's going to lead things. And I would always end up doing all the work, which sometimes it was great for me because then I could use it to showcase what I've done because no one else actually touched it, so it was me.
Yeah.
But try to be helpful when you have group projects. Like, a lot of people are scared of them because of that.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, too, I mean, I've done one, and it didn't get done because one person did not do it. And so we went to the professor and said, look, all three of us have done our work, but this person has not showed up to meetings, not showed up to emails, any of that kind of stuff. And so we ended up still having to redo the project, but we just made sure that person did it because that person probably, I think they're on the football team. So they, I'm sure, had a very scolding, basically saying if they don't do this, then, you can't play. So if you do that, I'm sure, it's a little bit, they're going to be more willing to work for that. But I will say on that note, too, if you're going to be the person in charge, make it, basically divide up the work. Because when you start that initiative of, being the person, then other people take advantage of that, just like you were saying. Or if some they take advantage, but sometimes they think, okay, well, they're doing all this stuff, what am I supposed to do? And then they don't say anything because they don't know how to communicate.
Yeah, and I tried that where I would try to push it to someone else, but it ended back on me because they didn't want to take the leadership. And the sucky thing is, for those of you out there, listen in. Those of you on group projects who don't like to do the work, why? I don't get it. That's why I would actually grade people accurately if the teacher would ask us to grade them.
Yeah.
And here's a funny story. I had a class. Our job was to create a perfume ad. So, we all came together, came up with a name of the ad. We tried to come up with, a slogan for the ad. And then everyone dropped off.
Oh.
And I was the one that actually designed it. I think it came out so great. And I used my Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, in design skills to do it. And I actually overslept on the day that we had to present.
Oh, no.
And what's crazy about it, no one from my group, I think it was a group of 6 people.
Yeah.
And so I was the only person that created that thing. And some of them, we had, a paragraph we had to write about it, too. So someone, contributed to that. But the main part, which was creating the advertisement, was me. So I overslept. I was freaking out, going crazy. I still got an A. I got no points taken off. My group wasn't mad at me because they would have had nothing to present if it wasn't for me. So how are they going to get mad that I overslept to the presentation? They were totally fine with it.
Yeah.
But it should have been like that. It should have been, I overslept, they get mad at me, I get points docked because everyone should have been giving equal points or just, all their effort.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Everyone, there's effort. The word effort. Everyone should have been putting their effort into the point where me missing would have been a bad thing. But because I was the one that actually created everything,
right,
it didn't matter. And so it was kind of funny when I tell people, what, you overslept and it didn't even matter? No, it didn't matter. But try to be more productive and helpful in these group projects.
I will say also that reminds me, talk to your professors.
Yes.
Because I know it's scary and I know it's something that you don't want to do, because I was one of those people for the first probably year-ish, just because you're adjusting and you don't know exactly what you're doing and you're just kind of going to class, but then you're kind of do I have to go to class? Oh, I don't, because someone's not telling me to go, but then you have to realize within yourself, obviously, that you need to go to class because you need to graduate, right?
Missing class can set you back 10 years.
Yes. I will, because it's such a faster pace, but I honestly forgot what I was going with that.
Well, just going to class. Oh, you're talking to the professor.
Oh, that's what it was. Yes.
Yes.
See, I can get distracted a little bit. So yeah, I think just talking to the professors really helps because sometimes, for me personally, I struggle with writing, And so I would sometimes go to the professor and just say, you know, what did I do wrong? What do I need to improve upon? And I think that really helps me because sometimes it wasn't that I wasn't getting the material. It was that I wasn't presenting it in the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that I think that could be, you know, applied to anywhere, whether it's math, whether it's engineering, whatever your subject is. Talk to your professor. And you never know, like, you might need a personal reference at some point. Or,
yes, those are so important.
You know, things like that. Or if maybe you like them and then they have other classes. I mean, I know I found that in my department. I think I had my one professor 3 times.
Wow.
And then another professor 2. So, I mean, so it's basically I found professors that I liked, and then I found what other topics they taught that were in my major that I was able to take. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just important to, like, and use Rate My Professor. Oh my goodness.
Look at that site. Do it.
Seriously.
Now. Do it absolutely right now.
I was telling my little cousin a few weeks ago when she was choosing classes because she was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, look at Rate My Professor because I didn't know about that tool. Did you?
I did not know about it. I mean, looking at it now is really funny. Especially when you go look at a teacher that, like, made your life hard.
Yeah.
And you realize you could have been warned.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will really help you. And sometimes people will put in there about, like, how they do their final.
Yeah.
What they'll expect from you. Their attitudes, what not to say, what to say. Mm-hmm. Rate My Professor, whoever created it, is just a good person.
Yeah. And I will say, too, I think it's important to do that because I personally, when I was choosing classes, I would have to take a lot of classes in one semester to, like, be able to graduate on time. And so I wanted to see how much the workload was going to be for each class. And so sometimes I would determine if I took that class in fall or in spring because that way I know, like, what my workload's going to be. So I think that's important, too. And, like, even taking classes, I know I took three classes last summer, so 9 units, which was insane in and of itself.
Wow.
Yeah, so I haven't had a break from school, I think, in almost 2 years because I took winter classes in, I think, fall of 17, or whatever, winter of 17, and then summer classes all of 2018. And then that's right, the summer or the winter before that. So winter 17, winter 18, and then summer 18, and then all of 2019.
So graduation really is a breath of fresh air for you.
Yes.
You really like,
I just realized, like, saying that all out loud in one sentence is, like, kind of a lot, so I'm sorry. That probably wasn't what you guys wanted to hear. But just know you can do it.
You can.
No matter what's on your plate. I mean, look at Chioma, for example. I don't know how, I really don't know how you did it. And again, I'm proud of you, and I don't know what
I drink my water. You know, if you drink your water, you can do anything in this life. Just drink your water.
Yeah.
And for those of you who say that all water, tastes the same, you're not on your marks, okay? Just drink your water.
Thanks. I'm drinking my water now.
Yes,
in this 100-degree weather, okay?
We both have water bottles right here, and we have water. Do that. But back to what you're saying about the teachers, knowing your teachers can help you. One of my professors, he was like our advisor, but he also was an advisor for this magazine that I was an editor for. And he helped me with substituting classes, like one of his classes for something else. Just having a relationship with him helped me so much.
Yes.
And if you need to ask someone something or you feel like you need to ask someone something, ask them. Because I was, like, hesitating for something sometimes. Like, I don't know if I'm going to ask, and I did, and it worked out for me. So do that. Get to know them. It really helps you.
Yeah, I think I ended up knowing, like, basically the head of sociology, or one of, like, the head people, professors of sociology, and that really helped me along the way, because then she kind of, like, so even though she wasn't technically my counselor, I would still go to her and kind of show her my classes, and she's like, oh, you'll be okay. Like, so, because she would know what those classes entailed, and so it kind of helped me, like, navigate what kind of classes to anticipate, or, like, what that semester would be like. Because I know I would say for freshmen too, just be careful. Don't overwhelm yourself the first semester, like, with how many units you're taking, because it will be okay if you don't take 15. Like, you can take 12, and you're still a full-time student. I'm in the sense that if you don't take 15, yes, you're not technically on the plan, right? But then you can be like us and, you take summer or winter classes.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. Also, that just all made me think of, look at your community college and see if there are any units, general education classes that you can take that will transfer over to your university.
You can do it over the summer.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
And don't be like me and take 20 units. Those 7 classes. I did it the last one. I had to get that done, put it all in there. But don't try to do that just to be an overachiever. It's not cute. It's not fun.
Also, I love all the people that came from, like, high school and they have a 4.0 and all this stuff, which is amazing and that's awesome. But college is a lot different.
College might kick you in the butt.
Yes.
Hey, if you were in the IB program and you went out there, it might not kick you in the butt. But college will kick you in the butt.
Yeah, like even those AP exams?
Yeah, they had IB exams, AP.
I took AP exams and I didn't do very well.
I tell people, like, AP is like, I always said, like, it's advanced placement. It's like harder. Yeah. But, like, IB really kind of, like, warped our minds.
Well,
yeah, not every school, like, offered it yet. It's, like, getting out there, but it really warped our minds. And
is that the one you could take college classes while you're in high school?
No, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. They have the exams at the end. You get college credits for it. It's the international baccalaureate program. It's like this whole thing.
Okay.
But, like, moral of the story, college will kick your butt.
Yeah. Well, you could be like, my boyfriend, he went to school for an extra year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, and he could have graduated, but it was just one of those things that he just happened.
The cushion was better for him.
And then he like didn't go to the counselor all the time, so it was just one of those like misunderstandings. Like, oh, but now he has like 3 or 4 basically not undergraduate minors because he took so many different classes. So he's a very well-rounded person from college. I will say that. So
and even going to advisors, I'm not going to call his name out. But I did have an advisor, those 33 extra units that I was taking, he wasn't even, like, catching on to that or noticing that I was, like, doubling up on...
Because they don't care.
Yeah, I was doubling up on stuff.
Well, and I shouldn't say that about all of them, sorry.
Yeah, not all of them. But, it's up to you to make sure that you are on the right track. No one is going to alert you.
Nope.
You got to do that. You got to get that class. No. And so because I was just, like, listening to him, like, oh, you're good, I thought I was good. And then I was taking these classes that I needed to take. So make sure that you're checking the My Progress, like Allie said earlier, all that stuff, the tracker on the My SJSU or whatever your college has. Check that stuff, please. Do not rely on anyone else to make sure you're getting through college right.
You have to keep yourself, like, just keep yourself entertained.
Updated.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the word. Sorry. Just because, be in charge of your own education. That's where I was going for.
Yes. And, like, if you have a lot of classes, for me, with Canvas, that's what we had at San Jose State, I was checking it all the time. I had Canvas attached to my calendar.
I had it on my phone, so I always got alerts.
Yes. So whenever a teacher would upload anything, because when you have a lot of classes, with 7 classes, it's easy to forget about one. So every day I would look at every single class, look at Canvas, and make sure I wasn't forgetting about everyone. Because you could, like, only pay attention to 6, and then I had an online class. Easy to forget about that.
I did those too. Online classes can be hard. And I took a theater appreciation for an online class.
Wow. They're not as easy as some people might think because you will forget about them sometimes and have to remember, I have that class.
I will say too, it'd be great if you have a calendar on your phone, obviously, which
Google
everyone does.
Calendar,
Google Calendar,
please.
and then set alerts. Like, set alerts for yourself, like, 2 or 3 days before.
Yes.
Like, or even a week before, just so you can get a head start, and then that way you know exactly when it's due. So you know, like, when to start doing it and what it is.
Like, for an essay, don't be like me and do a 10-page paper the night before that you're printing it out right before you go to the class.
I've done that a few times.
Do that.
It's just stressful. It's not worth it.
I don't know. For me, procrastinating works, and it has helped me be very successful. But it just really stresses your life out sometimes. Like, I had so much time to get that done, but I waited till the day before. So don't do that. Like, tell yourself to do little by little.
And also pay attention to the deadlines.
Yes.
Because sometimes teacher or professors mess up, and so it'll say 11:59 p.m. instead of a.m. Because that is a huge thing, because 11:59 a.m. means you can go to class, come back that same day, and finish the assignment. 11:59 p.m.
is that afternoon.
And
you don't have much time.
No.
So make sure.
Another note, sorry, just to... I know most freshmen have already picked their classes, right? But also, don't pick an 8 a.m. class.
You won't get up. You won't wake up for that.
And everyone thinks you will. I personally did. I was like, I picked a 7:30 class. Why? I don't know. Because I had a 6:30 class in high school. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I get up, for that class just fine. I literally, in the Bricks, we were right across the street. It was, I think it was Macquarie Hall, and we're just below us. But anyways, and it was right across. Like, I didn't have much to go, and I would get up 10 minutes before class started and roll out of bed and go to class. That's if I went to class.
Wow. Don't be like Allie is what she's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Even with the 9 a.m. class, I had a 9 a.m. class and I'm such a weirdo. I would wake up, literally walk straight to the kitchen, turn on the stove, walk to the bathroom. Like, I'd be cooking. Like, I'd get up
in
literally.
CBB?
Yeah, in CBB. Oh. I would get up at 8 o'clock.
Which is her, like, probably sophomore? Was sophomore?
That was my junior and senior year when I had a studio in CBB. Yeah. Shout out to CBB. I would get up at 8 o'clock, had class at 9. I would cook breakfast, and I'm not talking about some cereal. I'm talking about some eggs.
I knew it.
Some pancakes. Yeah, some bacon. Get dressed, everything, and leave my room before 9 to get to class. Maybe because I had a scooter, because if you get a scooter, your life is good. Nothing
at
can
least
go
on
wrong.
Our campus, because our campus is small.
Our campus is small. So, 9 a.m., I was able to somehow do it. If you do a class earlier than that, you need to go to bed at 2 p.m. the day before. Just get up. 2 p.m. the day before, so you don't really get to do much throughout the day. You gotta go to bed, so you can get up early the next morning.
You know what I do miss, though, is being able to, like, stay up late, and then you get up early, and you're not, like, super tired like we are now.
We're old. That's just what it is.
But we're not even old. Like, we're 22.
We're 22, but we're old. Like, I can't get up anymore. I set an alarm. I tell Alexa to, set an alarm for 7 a.m. I'm not getting up till 10. Like, I try. So.
I do that all the time. I always have so many alarms. My boyfriend probably gets annoyed.
But as a freshman, like, you have so much time on your hand. You really can do whatever.
Yes.
Like, don't skip your classes. Please go to class. Like I said, it sets you back 10 years.
Don't be me. I used to... Well, I shouldn't give you ideas, actually.
Yeah, don't listen to whatever she was going to say because she's going to give you a bad advice.
It would be fine.
Just get up to your classes. Go. Try to enjoy your classes. Not everyone is the type of student who loves being in class. I personally did. I loved being in class. I'm a weirdo. I loved learning.
I didn't always. It depended on the class, though. It wasn't until I got my major classes that I, liked being in the class.
I actually really like GEs. And that's the thing. For those listening, if you're at this part, if you've made it all the way this far, let us know what you think about GE courses, because some people don't like GEs. I always thought they were wonderful, and I always felt like everything I learned in my GE classes, I used outside of them. But I'm the kind of person, I'm like a learner. I love learning. Everything I take in, I use it. I don't think any piece of information is useless. But some people hate their GEs. They just want their major classes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I can't say that I've used geology in my life.
I love geology. I've used it. I had two geology classes last semester.
I mean, I even had a lab. We had a field trip. It was, I think, just to...
We had the same geology class, probably different times, but...
Oh, yeah, that's right, because I took it the semester before, and then you took it afterwards. Which, that was my semester from, crazy, because your crazy semester was this past semester, and then my crazy semester was this past fall, so fall of 2018, because I think I had... I want to say it was 19 units.
Ooh,
or
that's
something
one
like
unit
that.
from me.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. But it was a lab Monday nights, and then just all my other classes. But I think it was that's what it was. It was 100W. And don't ever procrastinate in that class. I don't know who, because I think it's all schools, right? You have to take 100W?
Maybe. I have no idea.
I think so.
Tell us that also. Does your school make you do 100W, or does it have a different name?
Or some sort of English performance of writing.
That you have to pass.
And you have to also pass a test before that, remember? Because you had a
writing skills test.
WST.
Yeah.
WST, that's what it is. So you'd have to, do a writing test, which honestly is fairly easy because I'm not great at tests, and I passed it with, easy. So,
I was so happy to pass
But you have to do that in order to take the 100W class.
I did not like my class.
I will just say with that class, it's a lot to learn, but it's useful skills because you're going to have to write eventually, usually in any type of job.
I'm journalism. We had one. We're already writing. And for people who think that all we do in journalism field is write on a newspaper, no. We have a TV studio. We do graphic design. We have media law classes. We got it all. But we were writing in that class and, like, we already do that. You know, I'm about to cry right now just thinking about it. I had to write my obituary in that class for an assignment, you know. I was dying.
That's rough.
Yeah, and I
gave
myself a nice little life.
Yeah.
I died old or something like that. But I did not like my 100W class. I didn't see the need for it, but maybe I'm just being stubborn.
I don't know. I liked it. I mean, I didn't get the best grade I wanted to, but I learned a lot from it. So I do appreciate it for that aspect. I actually even emailed that professor that I had this like in May, because I had her for an online class this past semester, which I absolutely loved. It was oh my gosh, femininities and masculinities.
Ooh.
So that was interesting in and of itself. But I emailed her and I just said, hey, you know, I'm graduating, but like I really appreciated your class this past semester and even 100W. And
Allie is really sweet.
And just like said thank you. Well, because I feel like that's another thing. I feel like professors and teachers don't get the credit they deserve, and they don't get the pay they deserve. First of all,
true, and that is a topic for another day. Yes.
So I try and do those types of things because I know they don't get that kind of recognition, and I know it may not be much, but I'm sure to them it probably meant something.
No, and you're right. And like I said, I'm a learner, so even though 100W got on my nerves, I did learn a lot. And some of the writing that we did, I even look back on and I'm like, oh, it's really good, or I really liked it. But yeah, I appreciate your professors. Like, when I see mine walking around, or the ones I used to have, I still say hi to them. I talk to them. They're cool. Have a relationship with them. It really benefits you.
Yeah, and I also I just thought about this too. Any transfers, you know, to a university, don't be scared. Like, I mean, personally, obviously, we weren't transfers, but I know it can still be scary because you're going from a community college that probably was in your hometown or something like that, and you're still doing a huge and just major change in your life. So just don't be discouraged, and just talk to people in your classes, because honestly, I think that was like one of the best things I could have done, because I know it's not the thing that you want to do, right? Because you're like, oh, I don't know that person, like I don't want to talk to them, and so I think just talking to people that are in your classes, because they're going through the same thing, like they're and that way if you need help on an assignment, or if you need help on whatever, then you can kind of talk to them about that.
Especially for the people who don't live on campus, because there are people who commute, and making friends and establishing relationships is so different. It's easy when you're in the dorms. It's so easy.
Yeah.
When you're not, it's a lot harder. I would see on the Sammy app, which is this app that San Jose State has, for students to just do whatever, sell stuff, sell books, buy things, ask questions. I utilized it working on the Spartan Daily. People would post about wanting more friends.
Yeah.
If people would hang out, you know, I'm a transfer. We can maybe meet halfway because I live out here. So utilize the Sammy app.
Remember, I talked our friends Shaquille. Shout out to you because you're a transfer too.
Shaquille.
Because I think he came to the mailroom and I just kind of was talking to him and I was just like, oh, how do you like it? Because I didn't know who he was, but I think he just like we might have sparked up a conversation. But then I think he asked me like, oh, are you guys hiring? And I was like, I don't know, but here's my, you know, boss's email, and, you know.
And he works there now. And he helps us. When I started working in the mailroom, Shaquille, shout out to you. And I would ask you for everything.
As an RA, he was like one of my only friends as an RA, so that was fun. But that's a different story. Anyways, no, but I just think like he definitely opened my eyes up to realizing that there is a huge transfer community out there, just because we are kind of, or San Jose State specifically is kind of a commuter school, and so a lot of people do go to community college and then transfer over, and I just think it's really important to like
establish relationships.
Yeah, and just be nice to those people because like, yeah, they're older, but they still like it's still a new environment. It's still something that they have to deal with. So,
and speaking of being nice and all that, and like to like end out this episode, we're gonna tell y'all how we met.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was a very nice occasion.
Yes.
So, do you want me to go? Do you want you to
go?
I'm
gonna start.
Okay, you start.
It was partly my thing. No, anyways. So, let me just give also some background. So, we lived in the bricks, which is like, it was the lowest of the low. Like, just to say it briefly.
A giant brick, and they put people in it.
Anyway, so we had the showers, and like, most of us knew really only 2 showers worked.
Yes.
And then everyone wanted the corner one because it's the highest one. Because the other one that actually worked was really short, so like you couldn't wash your hair. Anyways, and there was one lawn chair just sitting there, and we would put all of our stuff there. So I'm in the shower, you know, I'm almost out, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Who has my chair?" I was like, oh my God, who's coming in?
And that was the beautiful voice of me. And you know, I walked in, I was planning to take a shower, you know, live a good life. And I saw that my chair, my lawn chair, was being used by someone else. And I'm loud and extra.
I got scared.
I said, "Who has my chair?" And this woman, you know, this woman that's here with me right now, she was the one that had my chair. She looked scared, but somehow we ended up just talking all night.
Oh no, I
about
told
our
you,
life.
I was like, I'm almost done with it.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
what it was. And then I gave it to you, but then we just started talking.
It's been like over an hour just talking about random stuff about our lives.
And even the RA came in the bathroom and was like, "Hey, is everything okay
to check on
here?"
us, see if we were having a cat fight or something like that.
Yeah, but we just talked about our entire lives in like an hour.
And that's how we began. And so that's how we are here doing this here with y'all.
4 years later, oh my God.
4 years later.
That's so crazy to me.
So, thank you everyone who's listened.
Yes, and please, like, leave your feedback because this is the first round and our first episode, and so we are open to constructive criticism, but also any positive notes that you guys liked.
And questions. Yeah,
any questions or any of that, and anything maybe you want to see on a next episode. We are more than open to any of your suggestions.
Yeah, so this is Anything, Everything. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.